Hello, welcome back to another AP Sports video. Today, I'm going to be getting into the Orlando Magic, and at the time of this recording, they are 4-1. I wanted to get into why I think they are playing as well as they are, and kind of some issues I have with the way they're playing. But once again, before I get into all of that, please do subscribe and like the video. It helps us a lot, more than you know. It helps us, it gets us motivated to continue to post. So if you do enjoy the content and you'd like to support us, please subscribe, and it helps a lot. But to get into the meat of the video, the Orlando Magic. So they're 4-1. They have lost one game, and it was against the Sixers. It was a blowout. But they beat the Heat, a fully healthy Miami team. Butler was healthy, all of that. They beat the Wizards twice in a row, just like the Bulls did, and they beat the Thunder. The first thing I want to talk about with this team is that this year they're playing so weird. Like, it's weird. So they are shooting the league lowest. So they are 30th on three-point attempts per game, and they're also 30th in restricted area points per game. So, or not points, but shots per game. So they're shooting the lowest amount of three-pointers in the league and the lowest amount of layups in the league. So that's mainly how most teams get their points. You know, you either hit a three-pointer or you hit a layup. One's worth more than the other, but they're both they're the most taken shot in basketball. With that said, the Magic are number 1 in the league in mid-range jumpers taken per game and non-restricted area paint points per game. So that's floaters, pull-ups, anything in the paint that isn't a layup. So what does that mean? In my opinion, that means that they're getting very lucky. They're hitting an incredible amount of their two-point jumpers. Like, they'll pull up off of screens. They'll take long twos all the time. They could be winning by a lot larger margin if they were taking these three-pointers, but they're basically 2 feet within the three-point line, and they're hitting these long twos. Probably the worst shot in basketball, if you ask me, is the long two. Their mid-range jumpers are falling every time. I mean, so Fournier is hitting 70%, Evan Fournier, 70% of his twos. Markelle, 45% on 13 twos a game. Terrence Ross is hitting 58% on 8 twos a game. Aaron Gordon's hitting 61% on 7 twos a game. Vucevic, 51% on 10 twos a game. These are very, very high percentages. Granted, it's been 5 games, so they're going to be either really high or really low. It's a small sample size. But that just kind of gives you an idea of why they're 4-1. They're not playing the greatest teams. I mean, Miami's good. That was a good win. But they played the Wizards twice. They played the Thunder. And then they got blown out by the Sixers. They got put in their place. So, with all that said, I think a lot of these wins have to do with them hitting their shots and the other team just missing. Like, the opponents from 3, wide open, and opponents in their first 4 games against the Magic are 31% from 3. They aren't hitting their threes. It's luck, you know. Their free throw percentage from the first 4 games before they played the Sixers is 65%. It's just, they are getting lucky. There's nothing else to say. They're getting lucky that the teams they're playing are missing their shots and that the Magic seem to be hitting their twos. It's unsustainable in order for them to continue to hit 70%, 45%, 58% of their 10 attempts per game from 2. It's not going to work. And although I do think the Magic are a playoff team with a very, very bright future, I don't think that they are going to be one of the top teams in the NBA, you know? Like, this isn't their breakout year where they're gonna be the 3 seed, you know? Like, I just don't think people are understanding that point is that these are lucky games against not the greatest opponents. So, and I think that the Sixers game opened a lot of people's eyes to it, kind of like, well, maybe the Magic aren't all that. But after trashing them a little bit about their style of play, I want to talk about their talent. Markelle Fultz just signed him to a pretty big deal. It was $50 million. I don't know how many years, but it was a big contract for a guy who hasn't necessarily proved himself. And I think it's going to be one of the better contracts. He is going to be their guard of the future, you know? He's not going to go out there and shoot 36% from three, but he can get it done. He's a great team player. Here's a quote from Steve Clifford, the head coach of the Magic, just kind of talking about how he needs to be more aggressive. Clifford thinks that if Markelle is more aggressive, it makes their team better. And as long as Markelle continues to excel at driving to the basket and helping others like Vucevic or Aaron Gordon or any of those guys, Markelle can distribute the ball very well. And I mean, yeah, he can't shoot very well, but his mid-range jumpers are falling now. To continue to talk about their young talent, they also have Jonathan Isaac in the future of this team. You know, like, Jonathan Isaac is a great player who might not average 25 points per game, but he's one of the best defenders in the league, hands down. He can guard 1 through 5, basically, and he's out for the season. When he comes back, and if the Magic can get a guard, like a guard who can shoot very consistently, they're going to be very good. I think that they can make the 5 seed, 6 seed in the East easily, as long as they have that defensive presence that Jonathan Isaac brings them and a good shooter. I mean, Vucevic is a great shooter, don't get me wrong, but you can't rely all of it on a big man like that, especially when, I mean, he's fast, but, you know, he's not as slippery as a guard. He can't necessarily, you know, get you with that quick first step like somebody like Donovan Mitchell, somebody like that. So I love to see them get a guy who can shoot well and also just is consistent about it, you know? Doesn't chuck up bad shot selections or anything. He just needs to fit his role. If they can get a guy like that and Jonathan Isaac comes back, this team is in good shape for the future. They've got a lot. All these guys are young. Markelle's like 23. Vucevic is pretty young as well. They've got Jonathan Isaac's 23. Aaron Gordon's very young as well. A guy I really like who isn't getting any playing time is Mo Bamba. I don't know what his future is going to be like, but I think that if he's given the ability to play, like, he's literally not even seeing the floor right now. So he can get that backup center spot, and he can be a good piece for them as well. I'm looking forward to watching this team in the future. I like them. I don't think that they're going to be a top team in the East this year. I think a lot of what they're doing right now is based on good shooting from them and bad shooting from their opponents. But yeah, if they can get the three-point attempts up and start making some, you know, this team is going to be good in the future. So thank you so much for watching. I appreciate if you subscribed and liked. Please comment your opinion. I'd love to hear it. I'm open to any discussions, you know, like, I'd like to converse in the comments about the video or any opinions you might have. So with that said, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.